Dave.
And I'm Jen.
And we are here in Brandon, Mississippi with Aaron and Brad from Bayou Classic. Now, Bayou Classic, I have seen in stores and different places, and I've been, they make, you might be familiar with them, turkey cookers. That's a big thing you'll see. But I didn't know they were just right here in Brandon, Mississippi. And then we met Brad through church and some community stuff. And he told us, we found out he worked here. And it's a cool story. So Brad and Aaron, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So kind of tell us, what is Bayou Classic? How did it get started? What's the story?
Well, my parents grew up in New Orleans, so born and raised in Louisiana, or I should say Louisiana. They truly lived the outdoor lifestyle. My dad has endless stories about crabbing on the shore, fishing, duck hunting, all the things. And so they decided to start an outdoor cooking business in 1986. And we moved to Jackson to start the company. He based it on location because it intersected to Highway I-55 and I-20.
Yeah.
It was close to the New Orleans port and to the Mobile port. So the location of the business was determined by easy access, transportation.
Shipping, yeah.
But he's always had a passion and a love for food and outdoors. We started the business. It's a garage.
Mm.
We started in the garage of the house.
Mm-hmm.
I spent hours watching them assemble cookers, designing boxes. We used to take orders when I was little. Back then you just had a house phone.
Right.
So you would answer it, hello, this is Barbara International. How may I help you? So it was fun. So when people ask how long I've been working in the business, it's really all I've known. I've been working it my whole life. So
Wow.
It truly is a family business, and there is truly a lot of passion and love in the business.
Gotcha. So what was the need that he saw for creating these cookers? Was there a need or?
He did. He had a lot of friends at that time worked offshore on the oil rigs.
Mm-hmm.
So they did a lot of outdoor cooking. They used these huge pots, and there wasn't really a market, or there wasn't really a place to go buy them. They were welding them, they were fabricating them themselves. So he saw a niche market. There was a need for that. And he was also, the company that he was working for, he was a salesman, and they were being bought out. And so he was ready to make a change. And so that, what is the expression? Desperation leads to whatever.
Innovation.
Well, there was a need.
Yes.
He walked into it. He filled it.
Yes.
That's awesome.
So, Brad, you were telling me a little bit about the design-wise, how
Right.
he kind of came up with the design.
Well,
What he's doing.
Rodney has always been willing to, as he would say, throw mud up against the wall and see what sticks.
Mm.
And so ever since I've come on the company in the last 12 years, we just kept that mantra. So he allows us to experiment. And what he did with the turkey fryer originally was he noticed a few things that were missing. One is the pot was not shaped. The pot that was being manufactured in someone's backyard or back garage wasn't the right shape for turkeys.
Mm.
So you were using excessive oil. And so it's a taller, slenderer pot. Then he realized that when the turkey lays against the side or the bottom, it either gets scorched or uncooked. So he created a rack that he patented that allowed the oil to circulate all the way around the turkey. So much more flavorful. The whole thing's getting cooked. It's a more even cook. It's better that way. Then he started taking that innovation into things like the cookers.
Mm.
The cooker is easier to pack into a box with the pot if you can take the legs off or disassemble it in some way. So he patented the legs so that they would be safe for someone were you to lose a bolt. It wouldn't fail on you.
Right.
And he's followed that path and handed that to us as more people came onto the team. So let's try that with a different product line or something like that. As we've grown from one product, which I guess would be the turkey fryer kit, now we bring to the world crawfish boils or any other kind of seafood, steaming, boiling, frying, all those types of cooking, and then we try to apply that innovation throughout the products.
Wow. So you've grown from the garage to this building,
Mhm.
which is, how big is this building? It's huge.
We said 190,000 square feet.
Wow.
Yeah, something like that. I
Yeah.
think you measure it one.
We're better
every
at
day.
design, worse at math.
Yeah. We don't do math real well. The plans
It's a big
say.
building. Let's just say that.
So obviously it's grown exponentially. So how did that, was that just hitting the time right when outdoors cooking, or?
It's a little, there's a lot of luck, good fortune, timing, hard work. Like it's all a part of the puzzle. And we always like to say you can't just have one thing. You have to fire on all cylinders. Sometimes when things are up, other things are down. And you also can't have, while we do sell seasonal products, we also had to develop products for all seasons in all different parts of the country.
Yeah.
So while we are seasonal, we are a 12-month year business based on, because crabbing or shrimp, it's different on the coast. The timing's different, East Coast, West Coast.
Yes.
And there's also different ways of doing it. In the South, we prefer to boil.
Right.
East Coast, they steam more.
Yeah, Brad was talking about that earlier, about the clams and
Clams and oysters were something I learned along the way in this process. Just even the vernacular were things like a clam bake. Well, they're not baking anything; they're steaming it. Same thing with oysters, and so we're just. And a crab boil might be steaming, So it doesn't really. It's not really fair to the new person. But once you learn it, we try to have those categories. We try to also do different size groups. So if you want to you want to cook for the four of us, smaller pot. You want to cook for all our friends, we're going to need the big 160 quart pot and invite everyone over.
Gotcha. So you guys grew from, the turkey fryer, that was like the original product?
The original product were the large stock pots and the steel cookers for crawfish.
All right.
That was the core of the business, is the seafood. The turkey fryer and the patent of that is what catapulted the company.
Okay. And so would you say that the turkey fryer was, were y'all kind of the first with the turkey fryers?
We like to say that the turkey fryer built the building.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Wow.
That's awesome.
So was that, the stock pots for the seafood, obviously in South Louisiana. So was the turkey frying kind of a South Louisiana thing that he took?
It was.
Oh, okay. Wow. That's fantastic.
Yeah, because I had never really heard about that growing up. I think I probably heard about it first maybe 10, 15 years ago, something like that.
And it goes through a season. A lot of people say Thanksgiving and Christmas are not the time to experiment with new recipes. But other people are like, we've had the same thing for 20 years.
Yes.
Let's try something a different way.
Right.
We're the opposite. We love to try new things, and we sometimes do well and sometimes don't. We have a whole episode on all of the turkey iterations we've tried. We've not tried frying though. That's
that's
my brother.
Your brother's territory.
You've had it.
I've had it. I'm good. I love it. But yeah. So where did it go from there, product wise?
Product wise, so 12 years ago when I came along, he had been experimenting with cast iron.
Okay.
He had, and I say it's always Rodney up until just a few years ago, and what he would been trying with our deep fryers, which we had a few years, but he had just introduced them as a stainless material, which was lighter weight, it's a lot more eye catching, and it was different in the market. And he designed that just based on shape and look along with function. So it's a beautiful product along with a very high functioning product. So those were two new categories. Like I said, since I've come on, we might try a different variation of what already exists. So the oyster steamer is a good example where we've had cookers and pots sold in a box together as a combo for years for different things. It might be a fish fryer, it might be a turkey fryer. Now it's a steamer. Now it might be a big boiler set.
Yeah.
And we can steam or boil in those, that kind of thing. So those are just to go over the major categories. It's cookware. So that's aluminum and stainless stock pots.
Okay.
And we kind of start at like 20 quarts. We do have some fryers that are down in 10 and 14 quarts, but as far as a stock pot goes, and we go all the way up to 160.
Oh, wow.
Because another thing Roddy wanted to do was we'll do really well at 80 and 100 quart, but have those larger sizes available that are harder to find. We want to be easier for the customer to find it.
Yeah.
And then cast iron cookware as well, indoor and outdoor. And then the cookers, we have them in steel, painted in high temp paint. We have them in stainless, again, handling the marine environments and things like that.
Yeah, that was one of the things I've seen too, which I was really interested to see, is so much stainless available.
Correct.
And it's because you see a lot of aluminum and some of it can be kind of, inferior product. But then you have the stainless as a really high quality option. I mean,
and we love stainless.
Incredible.
I mean, we at home, we cook with stainless all the time. We're not into nonstick we do stainless and cast iron and that's it.
Right. Well, we, just to finish the categories, we do the deep fryers. We call that its own category.
Okay.
And then we have accessories, like all the gas hookups and things like that you need. Those are our 5 categories: cookware, cookers, fryers, cast iron, and then accessories. And then we'll branch out again and just try something else from time to time. We've had coolers in the past. We don't anymore, but just trying things and throwing it up against the wall, see what sticks.
Sure.
We try to help people cook their way.
Yes.
Okay. We provide the equipment. You cook like an original.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Your way.
Nice.
That's an awesome statement.
Yeah.
But you will find, if you walk down the halls of this office, people's opinions on how to cook originally are very opinionated.
Right.
And so whether you're going to brine your turkey or you're going to inject or you're going to put a slurry on the outside, everyone has a strong opinion.
Absolutely.
Whether you're going to use an aluminum pot because it's lighter weight, it's more economical, or it's because it's what my grandfather used or I've always used, versus stainless. It won't dent as easily. It's easier to sanitize. It's a little bit bougier. It looks real nice.
Yeah.
It's going to stand the test of time. It doesn't matter. You can boil something 17 different ways in this building.
Yeah.
And it makes no sense, but we don't ruffle feathers.
Right. Well, then, like you said, we were talking earlier about the lighter weight of aluminum, versus the stainless steel is heavier. And you have some people that need the lighter weight.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, you look at the history in South Louisiana cooking, you got Magnolite. You got aluminum pans are a very prevalent product.
That's
everywhere. Right. Yeah. So, Brad, a little bit about your background too, and kind of what you do here.
Well, I started out, we were talking about earlier, I guess off the record, what our kids are doing. And I sympathize with the child that does not know what they want to do when they graduate high school or college or undergrad.
We're going through that.
So I was telling my kids earlier this week, I started off in architecture, switched to business, switched back to architecture, switched back to business. I just couldn't decide. But I graduated in business undergrad and loved it. I love the nuance of managing and marketing. And I don't know much about finance, but how you bring a product to life and then sell it out there in the real world and have it made and things like that. Anyway, I was next door neighbors with a guy who was a professor at Auburn University, and he had been an architecture professor, but through a course of his career, he was now the chair of the industrial design department. And he came to me one day after I graduated 2 years later, and he just said, "Are you interested in designing?" I said, "It'd be a real hard coin toss for me, even at the age of 22, having done it all, knowing what I know." And he said, "We actually have a program for someone with a non-design undergrad to get a master's in industrial design."
Oh.
And so I went there, and basically they take you through boot camp. And over the course of about a year and a half, you get 90% of the undergraduate degree. And then you qualify to get into the master's program, and it's however long you need to take, 2 to 5 years. So I did that, and somehow along the way, I ended up being an appliance guy. I didn't design toys or tools or cars or shoes, anything like that. I ended up getting an internship with an appliance company, small handheld kitchen appliances. And then my first job out of design school was at Viking. So, and they actually asked me to do the outdoor segment. So
Okay.
I did some interior inside and some exterior products.
Okay.
And it was, my goodness, 2007. I go to Reno, Nevada for an outdoor show. I walk past a table and it says Brandon, Mississippi. And I was like, I don't know anything about this state I've moved to, but it said Mississippi. Neighbors should know each other.
Yeah.
And I swapped business cards with Rodney Barber.
Oh,
Wow.
okay.
And so 6 years later, I'm looking for a change. And I called the number on that card. And through the course, what Rodney had done, he had the vision for things, but he actually had an artist, a local artist who had a knack for understanding things in an engineering kind of way. So when he drew something, he understood that we needed to weld it, we needed to fold it, whatever.
Yeah.
And that gentleman was no longer working with the company. And so he was looking for someone else. And he's like, I think this is good timing for everyone. Why don't you come down and interview?
Wow.
So we went from appliance to appliance to appliance. And I'm very fortunate. Sometimes I get to carry a little of that information along to the next place. And we've really enjoyed it here. And at my age, I think I've almost got twice as much time left to continue to build on that. And I'm excited about it.
Well, that's fantastic.
That is awesome.
So talk to me. So you guys designed everything here, and like how is the process?
It will, an idea will come from anywhere. We will have a conversation.
A lot of times from our customers.
Okay.
At a trade show or even when we're cooking on the weekends with friends. A lot of the ideas come organically.
Yes.
Organically. From any place. Like she said, friend, trade show, which would be a customer who sold this product or uses the product.
Right.
Some of our own coworkers who will say, I was using this last week, or I was cooking at the trade show, and it would be really nice if we had ...
Oh, wow.
So we'll do that. We'll look sometimes we come up with an idea, but we'll look out into the marketplace and see maybe where a trend is. You can never do enough market research,
Right.
But where a trend is or something like that, what's available with the people who help produce these products for us? How do you do it?
Right.
So one of the fun things I learned was visiting these factories. Our big aluminum pots are handmade.
Wow.
They have this artisan that is trained for 7 or so years before they let him loose on the machine.
Yeah.
And then of course their own little, they're not unionized, but they're their own little group and they're very protective. But those guys, just to do a side note, those guys worked through COVID.
Oh, wow.
And lived at the factory.
Oh my goodness.
They threw them a party afterwards, and we sent, many, many gracious thanks to them because they kept us supplied.
Yeah.
Because we were supplying essential customers like hardware stores, but you have to have the product.
You got to have the product.
So
Wow. Yeah.
we did that, but that is not how the stainless pots are made. Stainless pots are made very technically with rolling machines and robot welders, and so you don't go tell the aluminum factory, "Hey, we're going to change this today."
Yeah.
Like, no. Let's talk about it. Let's plan ahead.
Oh, wow.
Something's the stainless factory, you can call them and say, what if we made it 2 inches taller? They're like, okay, we'll have it to you next week. They think about things differently, but, and we have to plan that way. So the design process, you come up with that idea, then you have to say, how are we going to make it? We can sketch out anything, and that sketch will lie to you and tell you we can make this thing.
Yeah.
And then, but after a while, when you learn what they do, the manufacturer, and you learn what we can do and what our customers need or want, then you can find that sweet spot where we will produce it. We'll find the right price, because that's obviously a consideration, the right function, the right material, the right manufacturing process. And you have a prototype made, and you start to study it. Is this going to look right? Is this going to fit in the product line? this is going to work correctly,
Right.
because maybe we were all wrong. And
Yeah.
I'll sometimes they won't even send me the prototype. They'll send me a video and they say, this isn't doing what you ask it to do, and we're about to charge you 50 extra bucks for it. We're like, well, that won't work.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's a trial and error process. It's faster than it used to be.
It's cool.
And we keep an open line of communication with people all around the world to make sure things are working correctly.
Mhm.
And then there's also a magic element of it, not magic, but an essential element. And that is, how do you get it here?
Mhm.
And we also, over the past year, had to study the national politics.
Yeah.
How do you get it here and make it affordable with tariffs?
Right.
Right,
So
right.
we're looking at
Sure,
everything.
that has been an issue.
We're a smaller company, so we don't have a lobbyist, but we do have to pay attention,
Mhm.
and we have, and we would love advocates everywhere. You know?
Right. And then you were telling us earlier, so you guys come in and then everything's packaged
Mhm.
and
We will assemble or package things here.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Gracious, on a high percentage number of our products.
Gotcha.
Just because maybe we build elements of it in different locations and it's just easier to ship it all here and box it. Or sometimes we get a wild hair and say, what if? And we do our own grassroots kind of concept here.
Okay.
What if this cooker will sell with this skillet in the
Mhm.
same box?
Mhm.
Do people like that? And all of a sudden, we're selling a dozen online, and people are picking it up, and we'll show it at a trade show, and maybe a store will pick it up, and
Mhm.
all of a sudden, this thing's kind of got some legs to it.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Excellent.
Do y'all do like say you've come out with a new pot product?
Mhm.
Do you put it in people's hands to sort of test it before then you would really launch it out into the big market, like to see how does this really work? Does that make sense?
Sometimes we do most of that here in house.
Okay.
We do a lot of cooking for the employees or
Okay.
office lunches because
Gotcha.
for that very reason,
Yes.
because we want to test it, use it, try it out with new things.
Mhm.
And a good example of that is when we ordered the stainless steel jambalaya pots, because historically they're cast iron.
Mhm.
Okay.
Oh
Yeah.
wow, yeah,
They're
that's
cast iron.
yeah,
Cast iron is heavy.
very.
It's hard to make. And so we thought, let's just try one out of stainless. And it was going to be a hard sell. It was really hard to sell it to some of our core cast iron jambalaya
Yeah,
lovers
the
at the office.
diehards.
So that was one, for example. We did several cooks out here with it, and we've taken it to trade shows. And now the guys at the office, I'm not going to say that they prefer it because that, but
They won't say they will.
they
do.
love it.
That's
So
cool.
that's a good example of what you're asking.
Gotcha.
Well, that's awesome. So there's a lot of cast iron out there. A lot of cast iron's been around a long time.
Mhm.
What drove you guys? Where did you see the need to design your own cast iron, and where does that go?
Was it the jambalaya pot? Was that kind of the start?
So jambalaya is always, yes, because at the end of the day, we always go back to our core
Mhm.
and our roots, and then it evolves from there. We also tried to be a one-stop shop for our small mom and pop stores,
Gotcha.
so they didn't have to deal with 4 or 5
Sure. Yeah.
companies
Yeah.
to get what they needed
Mhm.
for their outdoor cooking
That's
department.
a great idea.
And so then we started to design pieces that were unique to the market,
Okay.
that were different.
What would be some of the most that you would say there are the most unique cast iron pieces?
We love, we came out with some more seafood specific cast iron.
Okay.
So we came out with an oyster tray.
Oh, cool.
So you heat that bad boy up on a grill or something, and it'll sizzle those oysters, and you can do all kind of cooked oyster meat dishes. And then with the success of that, we said, well, let's try it with shrimp.
Mhm.
So we did the same thing where you place the shrimp in the searing hot dish,
Mhm.
and you can cook in it and serve in it, and
Oh,
it's a great
gosh.
little
Yeah.
thing. Those are probably some very recent ones. I remember when I first came on, and Rodney was really trying to invest in the cast iron. He was really trying to say, I want to do more with it.
Mhm.
I see some potential here. He had some pieces. And he's like, let's just grow it. We found a new supplier. So they were a lot more technologically advanced. And I was able to discuss with them. And so he brought me 4 pieces. He said, these are what we will start with.
Mm.
And those 4 pieces are, one is actually a 12-quart domed roaster.
Hmm.
That it's a big boy, but you can roast the turkey or the roast or something like that. And that was one of them. We have a unique piece called a discata, which was the cooking method literally came from farm discs like harrows and
Oh, really?
plows, where they would take the used piece of steel that was kind of in a cup,
Okay.
shallow cup form,
Mhm.
and they would weld in the holes where it was mounted onto the farm implement, and they would cook out of that like a huge pan,
Oh, wow.
like a very shallow wok.
Okay.
So you can use a little bit of oil. It's a very similar cooking, but completely different part of the world.
Oh.
Very Texas,
Oh, okay.
Mexico
Okay.
kind of cooking. And so we create a cast iron version of that.
Oh, wow.
And the legs come on and off, so you can do it over a fire or on one of our burners, one of our cookers.
That's cool.
That's a fun one. And there's actually a new trend that we're watching called overlanding, and people like to cook, and they don't lag for anything. They buy nice equipment when they go, because they're driving it all over the land. Big old trucks and nice tents and nice cooking equipment. And so some people like that, like to use that piece specifically in that market. The other two, one was a large frying pot. It's really good for gumbo, but we call it a chicken fryer, but you can use it for anything you do cast iron. It's 10 quarts, so it really gets a lot done.
Uh-huh.
And do not remember the fourth one right now, but basically Rodney's like, let's do it differently.
Mm-hmm.
And we've tried to keep that mantra. Of course, you have to have skillets.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And we've had Dutch ovens for years, but other stuff, we look at what might be.
That's very cool.
That is cool.
So kind of what's the next few years? What are you guys seeing?
Well, part of our product, part of our business is seeing where people are going in the world. Like, what's the economy like? What are the tariffs like? What, where are people buying? So we have always been supportive of those smaller single-owned businesses, whether they're maybe a gas company or a hardware store. We really try to support them. Outdoor store, bigger chains, we work with them as well. But then there's also online. And so we constantly, what is the future? It's next month.
Yeah. True.
Right. We constantly want to continue to design and improve the current product categories while looking to our customers, our friends outside, all the areas, all the parts of the country for that innovation and for the new ideas.
Yeah.
So
it's a constant. We don't have to remind ourselves, let's have this conversation. It's a constant conversation.
That's great.
Sure.
I do have my own thoughts that to make that core fantastic. It is fantastic, but it's like she said, how can we improve on maybe this cooker or this pot? It can be a very simple thing. We can add a glove to the lineup so that you can lift the lid safely, or a different stand or something like that. So the core can just be repurposing something you'd see over in a completely different part of the market. Like, we sell nice long gloves. They're probably originally welding gloves. But now they're a nice, because you're working with bigger things.
Yeah.
So we need to protect more arms and be very well insulated, things like that. But I'm kind of in a core mode right now, where do we have?
The details matter.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we think that, the love can be found in the details.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
To really finesse it.
It's just, I think that the details are very important.
And you can hear that throughout the story. Like, we're talking about, making sure that the leg, if the bolt comes out, that takes everything to the next level and really shows the care and the love and the passion for what you do.
Well, because if you think about it, when you cook for each other, when you cook food and share food, that is a sign of love.
It is.
And so we want our products and the vessels that people use to cook that food to also be designed with love. Like
Absolutely.
it's the big picture.
Yeah. I was just thinking that when you were talking, I mean, how much people say there was love cooked into this dish or this was cooked with love. And, so you want to have that same mindfulness when you're designing what's going to cook the food, and like your story earlier, Brad, about the couple that ordered the pot and y'all shipped them a stainless version. They wanted the aluminum, and that was really kind of an upgrade for most people to get a stainless pot instead of an aluminum, but they couldn't lift it anymore. They were in their 80s. I'm kind of in that same boat, I can't do the really heavy stuff. So,
We always try to look out for our customers, what they need.
Yeah.
And it is more satisfying. It's really nice to hear when someone says, I've been looking for this product. But when someone says, I had an event and it was wonderful and you helped me do that. Like she talks about the love that people share, the gathering, all that stuff. That is so satisfying to know that we were part of your gathering, your party. And it was, whether it worked well or it came in on time or it cooked the food perfectly. That is so nice to hear that we're helping people out and sharing that with them.
That's awesome. And then you're right here in our backyard.
Oh, sure.
And then, hey,
Mississippi's backyard. Yeah.
Mississippi's
and
backyard.
in the South,
We'll always be here working hard to get the next thing going, I guess.
Well, this has been cool. Learned a lot. I've seen that name. Now I know so much more about the product line and the care and the love that goes into it. So tell us, where can people find your products?
We distribute through Ace Hardware.
okay.
We distribute through other hardware stores like Orgel, Do It Best, True Value.
Okay.
We're in lots of sporting goods stores.
Can people
Online,
find? Is there
we have our
a
website.
where
Yeah,
they
there is.
show
I've
retailers?
checked it out.
Yes.
Perfect. So
BayouClassic.com.
BayouClassic.com.
Very good information.
And order.
What?
And order.
But also support that local retailer.
That's right.
Aaron, thank you guys so much.
And Brad. Yep.
And I'm Dave, and you're Jen. Right?
Thanks for listening.
This is Sweet Teen Tacos. Thanks. Bye.
Oh.